Mesopotamia is modern-day Iraq, is mostly flat with scrubby plants. It's located near the Tigris and the Euphrates River. It was very rich with minerals.
They were able to grow crops easily. The weather was harsh and there were floods and droughts. They built houses out of mud and reeds because there were no trees.
These are the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The river provided water, means of travel, and irrigation.
Irrigation is important because it helps the farmers water their crops. They needed crops to eat and trade.
Without the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Sumer would not have existed.
Irrigation is a way to water crops. The Sumerians built canals to get water from the Tigris and Euphrates rivers.
Without the irrigation canals, their crops would not grow and they would not have any food.
Sumer was broken up into city-states.
A community that includes a city and its nearby farmlands was called a city-state.
Sumerian city-states offered many advantages to people who lived in surrounding lands.
City-states are a place for Sumerians to live in.
It was center of life, where Sumerians could trade food, clean, and other items.
Between 10,000 and 100,000 people lived in city-states, and each city-state ruled itself.
The main Sumerian city-states are Kish, Nippur, and Ur.
This picture is a temple called the ziggurat. The ziggurat is kind of like the city center. The ziggurat would stand out the most.
People would pay the priests for their services in the ziggurat. As a return, the priests controlled storage of surplus grain.
Specialized jobs are when people have a special skill in one area of work, including pottery, farming, or weaving. Listen to hear others.
These are some specialized jobs.
The specialized jobs are
Pottery,
weaving,
jewelry,
farming,
blacksmithing.
Those jobs are important because you need money, and with your surpluses, you can trade for clothes, food, etc.
This is a picture showing social classes. If the job is near the top of the list, it means they were well respected. If it's at the bottom, they have less respect value. The people at the top of the upper classes were the king and priest.
The Sumerians thought they had a link to the gods. The upper class includes landowners, government officials, and rich merchants. The middle class were all free people. This includes farmers and artisans. Slaves were the lowest class.
This is the picture of a Sumerian priest. Priests were the only source that had connection to the gods. They were at the top of the social class. All priests lived in the ziggurat, a city hall that has a temple. Priests believed that there was gods of sky, wind, foothills, and fresh water.
In fact, each city-state worshipped its own god. That's what's called polytheism. Priests practically kept a city-state together. Priests were considered many kings, and that's why priests were very important.
This is a picture of a king. A king was used to rule a city, state, and make rules for it. Kings ruled its kingdom. A king or queen is important because if there was no such thing as them, the kingdom would have no rules.
A king came to be when city-states came to law. Others attacked for their rule. That's when they decided they needed a powerful man to protect the city.
Scribes were important in Sumer. They were the only people who could read and write cuneiform. Since all the other people couldn't understand cuneiform, they needed scribes to record information plus business transactions.
The picture on the screen is a cuneiform tablet. Cuneiform is an involved version of the pictograph. The
Sumerian people changed it over time until they developed a cuneiform. Cuneiform used straight lines because of the new tool used called a stylus.
It is important because scribes could read, write, and keep business transactions. Cuneiform is so important because it is one of the first written languages.
An artifact is something from history made by humans. For example, pieces of pottery, weavings, and writing tablets. Tools, jewelry, plus art are other examples.
Artifacts are primary sources since they were there. They tell us a lot about the ancient people and cultures.
In Sumer, numbers were represented using a stylus. The number system was based on 60. That's why we have 60 seconds in a minute, and 60 minutes in an hour, and 360 degrees in a circle. Sumerian math is important because we use a lot of it today.